And y'all traded Herschel Walker or something, right? If my memory serves me correctly. Or was it the year before?
No, you're right. They traded Herschel, which was, I don't know what Minnesota was doing, but the Cowboys got 3 Super Bowls off of that, you know? they, nine draft picks and 3 Super Bowls. So
yeah,
I don't know. I guess they're happy. Minnesota, I don't know if they're happy or not. Mm-hmm. Whatever they got, I don't know. Was it worth it? That's what you have to ask yourself. And then when they got Herschel, they never played him.
They never played him. Who did you look forward to competing against?
Usually quarterbacks that like to pass the ball. Like I picked off Joe Montana a lot of times. Dan Marino I like going against, but I never could pick him off. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks.
Yeah,
that kid sits in their pocket, man. He sits like he's a sheriff on a horse. That's how Marino looked in the pocket. He was just one of those guys, the quickest draw you ever want to see. Of course, Doug Williams was amazing. You know, that was my guy when I was at Grambling State. I watched him go for the Heisman my freshman year.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. Yeah, I got that.
Watching him develop was amazing. Watching him not just develop, but yeah, we'll get to that. Wow, we'll just get to that. Yeah, I just like going against quarterbacks that would challenge you. And those that would challenge me, I was usually pretty successful against them.
Yeah, they're in the chat. They're excited. They say the Redskins won the Super Bowl that year. Doug Williams, man. How proud of you were you of Doug?
I was there. I was at that game.
Wow.
Yes, I was at that game. I was so proud to be there at that game. And when you look at what Doug went through, you know, he's like one of those civil rights heroes that go through unnecessary trials and tribulations. You know, we all go through it, but some things are just unnecessary. You know, like the things that Martin Luther King went through, and you could just name all those guys those civil rights heroes. Well, Doug, as a football player, he had to be that pioneer. He didn't want to be. He had to be. They just kept forcing it on him. He was great in Tampa. He brought a team that was literally a joke into playoff prominence. They went to the championship game, if I'm not mistaken. That's as deep as they've gotten. That's the best he could do with no squad around him.
Right.
Goes from there. They ship him off the racist organization of the Cover Houses with Tampa. Ship him off to USFL. I think he went to Arizona, then Oklahoma. I was coming in one night. I don't know what I was doing. A USFL game was on. It was the Oklahoma Wranglers versus somebody. Doug is out there in the rain. This is a guy that played in the NFL. He had just left Tampa. They ship him off and bring in Vinny Testaverde of all people.
They sure did. They sure did.
So Doug is hanging out there. He goes to USFL for the Oklahoma Wranglers. It was raining so bad, and Doug's knee was one of the worst knee. Right now, he needs to have his knee replaced.
Wow.
I think because of his experience in the USFL.
Wow.
He was getting beat down. And just like Doug, never takes a sack, fighting everything off for a team that was garbage, that did not deserve his presence. And he's out there fighting for them as if he was in the Super Bowl. I will never forget that game. It was late. It was raining so hard. And I was thinking to myself, how did Doug Williams get there? And it just lets you know how unnecessary it was for him to be there. Sure enough, I don't know who signed him. I think Coach Gibbs.
Coach Gibbs, yeah.
He saw him somewhere. I think there's a famous story about that. They somehow hook up with each other. And even though they appreciated him, they still made him climb and claw his way to the top to play in that Super Bowl game.
Is there racism in the NFL?
Yes.
It is?
It is.
Like, how can you explain it?
The fact that we were just now happy with black quarterbacks, that just lets you know that's the basis of what the NFL is all about.
Mm.
They're making moves. They're trying to make moves. You know, the commissioner came on during the pandemic and you know, did his best to talk about the mistreatment of Kaepernick and so many others that just we don't want to speak of. But if you realize the commissioner stood alone, there were no owners behind him. I can't recall one owner co-signing what he said. And maybe I'm wrong. Did you hear of anyone?
No.
Any owner? I know Jerry didn't say anything.
Colin Kaepernick, correct?
Any statement that Goodell made when he came out with that I guess around 30-minute apology, right?
Yes.
By himself, correct?
Yeah.
I have not heard of any owner that supported anything that he said.
Why is there such a disconnect between like in the business of in football? Like I saw a quarterback become in the NBA, they say a lottery pick, right? The kid out of Ohio State. And then they can just cut him and just cut the water off so fast. What? How do you explain that? And what's the solution? And
well, you know, everything's, you know, always slow changing. Always slow changing. The fact that you have the commissioner himself coming out and apologizing for something that we know was foul from day one and was politicized from day one, and somebody finally stood up and said something. The fact that he said that, you know, that there's still some type of a, you know, light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Right.
But when you look at the owners, pretty much all owners, they're just old school. You know, everything that America has had to overcome when you go way back in the day, you know, there were barons, you know, like the guys that own these teams,
right,
that had a certain mindset. You know, they were businessmen. You know, they shucked all, you know, conventional means, and I'm going to do it my way. No one's going to show me how to do it. That's what you have when you're looking at these owners, not just NFL owners.
Wow.
You know, they're extremely stubborn in what they do because they're so doggone successful. So who are you to tell me what to do and how to do it? And that has permeated for quite some time. Well, from the beginning of professional sports. Okay, and it's gonna take more than George Floyd. It's gonna take more than Biden. It's gonna take a whole lot more than that for those owners to change their ways.
Did you have any personal experiences dealing with racism in NFL?
Well, I've always just thought the standard operating procedure was racist. You know, I mean, just to me, you know, you got, you know, guys dismissing HBCUs.
Right.
You know, the fact that I wasn't drafted, to me, I think is from the basis of itself, not just because I wasn't drafted, it was racist. It's because I was on a national championship team, Black college national championship team. And I can't think of maybe one person from that team got drafted. That's 4 years after Doug Williams got drafted. You're telling me we got nobody on a national championship team that's worthy of playing in the NFL?
Right.
And it wasn't just Grambling. It was Jackson State. It was South Carolina State. It was all of them. We are always going to be considered, I call it cheap labor. That's what I call it.